Hello and welcome to the Cyprus Cricket TV Kypros Cricket Weekly. We are here in Spain. I'm Roshan. With me, President of Cyprus Cricket Federation, Mr. Mohammad Hussain. Hello, sir.
Thank you, Roshan.
Welcome to the program again.
Thank you.
As I told, we are in Spain with the Maflons cricket team. So, sir, I want to ask you first, how was your experience in here?
Well, it was quite a journey, to be honest with you. When we started from Cyprus, the flight was through Rome to Spain, then to Spain. But we had slight difficulties. We missed our connection to Spain, so we had to spend another extra 6 hours in Rome at Rome Airport, and then we took a flight to Madrid. And then we had an overnight stay in Madrid, and then the next morning, which was the game day, we fly in from Madrid into Malaga, and then we checked in, and we only had a couple of hours to get freshened up, and then we were at the ground. And the ground, as you know, is fantastic as usual. European Cricket Network has done a brilliant job as usual.
You can see it behind.
You can see it in the background. We are recording this program just before the final game gets played in Group G between Cluj and CIYMS of Ireland. And may the best team wins.
So difficult the last 2 days in here.
Yeah, a bit slightly difficult, I would say, but nevertheless, it was again a learning experience for the boys. We did quite well in two of the 4 games. We were nearly there, unluckily, the results didn't go our way in those 2 games, and things could have been very different. We look forward to the summer program with the national team, and we'll be back here again in September for ECC. So hopefully the guys will do better because quite a few of the guys who are here with Maflons will be part of the team that will take part in ECC in September. So let's hope that they improve on their mistakes and they learn something from this experience. And hopefully we'll get better results in September.
Now with me, Scott Burdekin, who participate ECL and Cyprus Maflons in Spain. Scott, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Scott, I want to ask you, how's your experience in Spain?
Oh, it's been amazing. You can just look behind us. You can see how picturesque the ground is itself. It's a great honour to be able to play here, and it's been a challenging couple of days for the team, but we've adapted and we've played with smiles on our faces. We had challenges at the start, literally getting here before we even played cricket, but we let in stages on the field. We let our cricket do the talking. We played some really good cricket. 2 of the 4 games were very, very close that we should have won. Fine margins, but we know the few takeaways from the games, what we need to go back and work on to narrow them thin margins and get over the line next time. But yeah, going back to your question, it's been an unreal experience for me and the rest of the team.
Any positive vibes in?
Yeah, so many positive vibes. The lads are a great bunch. Everyone works hard. They don't let the heads drop when they're playing. We enjoy ourselves, and at the end of the day, we all love playing cricket. So having the opportunity to come out here and play cricket in front of an audience on YouTube, and also with the crowd behind us as well, it's a great experience.
Okay. How do you feel playing in a different condition?
Yeah, so it's different from what I grew up with. Obviously, I'm from England, you're from Sri Lanka. Playing cricket in Cyprus, it's different from both environments. But the team has got some experience from everywhere in the world. Obviously, we've got South African, St. Lucian, not South African, sorry, Zimbabwean, English, and then Sri Lankan, Indian, and Bangladeshi as well. So everyone can fetch something different to the team, and then we make them differences gel as a team, and we all get behind each other on the field and off it. So it's enjoyable.
It's difficult or easy?
No, it's T10. It's a difficult format to play in anyway. I don't think the conditions differ too much. It's just you just turn up and you just play. You've only got 40 minutes to play the 10 overs anyway, so there's not much time to think too much into how the conditions may play a factor. However, at night time it's different. Not many of us have probably played under lights before. I know last night was the first time that I ever had, so it was a different challenge, but again, it's a challenge that we all accepted and we want to do and we want to do again, and fundamentally do better next time as well.
With experience, I hope Cyprus cricket will be better in next time.
Yep, absolutely. So, like I said about the thin margins and takeaways from this time in the games that we potentially should have won, we can take them away, and then for the next time we can adapt and know what we need to achieve next time to be able to get over the line. And whether that's going back to basics with maybe like rotating the strike a bit better, not consuming too many dot balls, or in the field taking it back to basics with our standards with catching, because we were deficient in our catching at times as well. A few drops went down, but no, again, the morale of the team, not once did anyone's head drop when someone drops a catch. Everyone come around them people when they did drop a catch, and we just move on to the next one. But the takeaways are to develop ourselves and move forward from what we can make ourselves better as cricketers.
Okay, Scott Burdekin, thank you very much for participating in this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Roshan. Thank you very much.
Welcome, Vinny, to Cyprus Cricket Weekly. Vinny Sandhu here from European Cricket Network. Most of our viewers already know him. But Vinny, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Mohammed. It's great to be here. My name is Vinny Sandhu. I'm the head of media and also the lead commentator for the European Cricket Network. So we're covering over 1,700 matches of cricket across Europe this year, including quite a few from Cyprus. So obviously I've been a couple of times. Not as familiar as you guys with the scene, but I'm always keeping my eye on what's happening. And yeah, right now we're at the European Cricket League, which is the Champions League of European Cricket, where the Mouflons have been representing Cyprus.
Yeah, I mean, things didn't go Mouflon's way. We will talk about it in a bit. But what are your first memories of Cyprus?
I actually really enjoyed just the vibe of the place. I think I was there, it was late 2021 for the first time, but I actually had watched a fair bit of cricket from Cyprus in 2020 when it was kind of just post-lockdown, that period for ECN. I still remember Ataullah 250 in a T20 for Rian. That was crazy. I still remember the 167 golden ball in the European Cricket Series back then as well. So I kind of had memories of Cyprus before I'd even set foot on the island. But when I did come, I loved the vibe of the place. I loved the people were so welcoming and friendly. And also the cricket scene pretty interesting with, seems like teams playing a real competitive, aggressive brand of cricket. So I really enjoyed that too.
So who are your top 5 or top 3 favorite players in Cyprus?
Oh, that's a good one. I know he's not around anymore, but Big Gurpratap Singh. I mean, he had a head so big that they couldn't even find a helmet to put on him. I remember here in the European Cricket League a couple of years ago for Punjab Lions, Nicosia. So I probably have to have him up there. Look, there's a couple more. I mean, I'm a big fan of Lakwinder as well. I think that he's a guy, he'll always give you 100%. And also, someone like maybe a Chamal Sadun as well. behind the hair, there's a lot of quality there as well. And I think he's a guy who always give you something. Nice to see a few emerging players I hadn't seen so much of. I'm loving Isidore and what he's bringing to the table as well. And it's quite interesting here, originally from St. Lucia, one of the Gibraltar players from St. Lucia as well, Kenroy Nesta, and they found out their parents know each other. So that's one of the cool things about the European Cricket League. It's bringing communities together. So there's a few names. I know I've missed a few there as well. But yeah, it's hard to have favourites because I kind of feel like I get to overlook everyone, and I appreciate everyone's efforts in cricket.
Lovely. As we just said, things didn't go Mouflon's way. So what would be the key takeaways for Mouflons from your point of view?
Yeah, look, it's a tough one. And I know Cyprus faces some unique challenges as far as getting people to the European Cricket League and these marquee tournaments. I would just say that the fact that Cyprus is taking part in these tournaments is a good thing, because you can see where you're trying to get to. And I know that some players probably would love to be here that couldn't be here. But I think you can learn a lot from these kinds of tournaments. And sometimes it's a bit of a reality check, not just for Cyprus, but for other countries as well. I think that sometimes when you're just playing domestic cricket, even good players, they can get in kind of bad habits sometimes when maybe the bowling's not of the standard that maybe they've played earlier in their career. And so I just think that, coming here, kind of seeing where the standard's at, that will go back, filter down into the domestic game, and hopefully, the players that have the potential to play well but haven't really played it well this time can work on a few things, maybe iron those things out of their game so the next time they come, they can perform. And I know it's a chat I have with lots of teams that maybe didn't meet their expectations here at the Cartermore Oval, but I just think it's such a great measuring stick for where you're at. So I like what's happening over there, but I just really hope it does filter down, and then those players then can share those learnings with the other players in their domestic teams. I think you've got a pretty healthy domestic structure there with every time I go there, I'm seeing new talent, I'm seeing new teams emerging. So that's probably what I'd say. It's disappointing, but without, I suppose, the tough times, you can't grow, you can't improve, and I suppose that's what I'm looking for. And let's be honest, we've seen Cyprus do some great things here at the Cartermore Oval. Punjab Lions a couple of years ago, beating Pakake, who would ultimately win the whole thing, and maybe a bit of weather and a few things didn't go their way, it could have been a different story. So I think it's tough, but I think you learn from everything, whether you win or whether you lose, but especially when you lose, I think you learn things, and hopefully that can just move cricket in the right direction even further.
So one last question on ECL. So who are your favourites this year?
It's a really good question, and it's kind of an obvious answer, but I really don't know. What I will say is that when we first brought in clubs from England, Scotland, Ireland, these kind of countries, got to admit the feeling was they're just going to thrash everyone, because they come from such a different cricketing structure. They're playing high-level cricket all the time. Okay, maybe not so much 10-over cricket, but they're going to be good. And don't get me wrong, they are good. But it's interesting that how much, since they've been involved, that the gap's actually narrowed, and the continental teams, and I include Cyprus in that, are catching up. And so, who would have thought a club from France would beat England in the final last year? A club from Spain would beat England the year before. And in the ECL, because it's club-based, we've seen some crazy upsets. We've seen, the Greek team beating the English. I mean, whether you want to call it an upset or not, but I remember the Cyprus side beating the Spanish side 2 years ago when Punjab Lions, Nicosia, were able to beat Pakake. Ultimately would go on to win the trophy. So we're going to have 7 teams coming in Championship Week that are all very, very capable. I think some teams have got a bit of a habit of winning ugly. Hornchurch, probably one of those teams. Sometimes they look awful. That's the English club. But they just found a way. They have a very good record in games where their future's on the line. I think they'd win 13 knockout games to even make it to the ECL. And then, despite finishing 4th in their group, they made it all the way through their group, made it all the way to the final. So they're probably ones that kind of spring to mind. But I really think whoever's in form can win it. And that's the beauty of the ECL. It's a tournament unlike anything else. I mean, who would have thought we'd grow from 8 teams 5 years ago to 35 teams now? Who knows where it will end up? And it is kind of heartbreaking in a way, because all these clubs come and you spend months and months, sometimes even over 12 months building up to it, and in 3 days you make it or you break it. And so there's heartbreak along the way, and there's going to be 6 heartbroken clubs at the end of Championship Week, because they'll all believe they can win, and to be honest, they all can. So not going to give you a proper tip. All I'm going to say is watch this space.
Lovely. Thank you, Vinny, for your time, and we look forward to welcoming you to Cyprus in June when we host ECS Cyprus and host you. So we have 2 weeks of ECS Cyprus, or 12 days of ECS
Yeah.
Cyprus, followed by 2 days of ECI, and then 3 days of T20 action against Estonia.
Yeah.
So we look forward to welcoming you, and thank you very much once again for your time.
My pleasure. And really looking forward to getting back there. Looking forward to seeing the new ground as well for the internationals at the end of the 2 weeks. Yeah, really, really excited. We're so happy to be working with cricket in Cyprus to try and deliver some great outcomes for the players and the community. So thanks so much for having me on the show, Mohammed.
Thank you, Vinny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roshan, we continued with our youth cricket program last week. We went to 2 different schools in Paphos, where nearly 250 kids got introduced to cricket. And we continued our sessions at St. Mary's School in Limassol. So in total, I think nearly 350 kids played cricket in schools in Limassol and Paphos. So I'm thankful to our coaches for continuing a good job.
And move to men's cricket, we had one 40-over game and one T20 game. We will talk about 40-over game. We had a game with Telugu 11 versus Everest. Telugu 11 batted first. They scored 284 all out. In reply, Everest, they managed 288 for only 4 loss. In T20 games, we had only one game last week against Cyprus Knight Riders Al Fathan. Cyprus Knight Riders batted first. They scored 124 all out. It's quite a low score in thriller. But Al Fathan, in reply, they managed to score 125 for 4 loss. They won by 5 wickets. Now move to past week highlights. We had a century in a 40-over game.
Ashish Bham played very well. He scored a century after a long time, I think. He scored a big score. So well done to him. And there were a couple of other good performances from from Telugu 11 and from Everest. But Ashish Bham was the standout performer this week. T20, I think it was pretty low scoring. Nobody managed a big score. But I think it's the bowlers who dominated the T20.
Yes, next week also we have 2 40-over games and 4 T20 games.
Well, let's see. The cricket will return to
Normal, yes.
next week. So all the best to the teams playing next week.
Now it's time to conclude our program. Before that, I would love to thank our main sponsors, Hari Kari, Bauer Financial and Chartworld. So also, I would like to thank the President of Cyprus Cricket Federation, Mr. Mohammed Hussain. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Roshan.
Follow us on our social media. We will be back in big time. Till then, be safe, enjoy and play cricket. Goodbye.